Hello all. I just wanted to film a quick update. You might notice I'm a bit teary-eyed. It's because this whole thing is distressing. I feel like I handle it calmly, like 95% of the time, but I'm definitely having one of those moments today where emotions are flooding back. I feel as if I managed to forward think pragmatically and calmly, like all the time, but today is one of those moments where it is hitting me. It could just be a combination of factors: dreary weather. But things have just been occurring to me. I thought I would share. When everything's pop in my mind, I feel a need to get it out, and this is how I vent. We live in a society where we can't really be exactly who we want to be around everybody because of the changes within people and the levels of manipulation and limitations. So, definitely it's good to cry. I actually look forward to crying nowadays. Like it reminds me that I'm human. So anyway, just thought I would share that because I'm sure it's obvious, but anyway, it just I just been sitting back pondering, and I was just thinking, human beings under this level of intense distress, coupled with our inability to express it at all or comfortably, for those who possess the autonomy and see it the way I see it, um, it's going to create an emotionally volatile powder keg within people. Um, we all see from different levels of perception. We process things differently. We're all different people, and we all hit these realizations and awakenings at different times. So naturally, if we're having a moment where we're having a profound epiphany or realization, and we're around people that are just aloof and completely in it, so to speak, and where they wouldn't see it or understand it, that's just leads a path to being misunderstood and to create further problems. So naturally, we're feeling the need to not just isolate ourselves, but our feelings too. Like we're feeling the need to compartmentalize things that we're not really meant to compartmentalize. So that creates an intense level of distress. As people awaken, it's becoming more and more difficult to balance normal waking life and what we know to be true. That just creates more tension and weirdness in the world. And I think over time, a thinning of the herd, so to speak, and losses are going to become more evident. It's going to become more undeniable that this is having a negative impact. And for a silently stated thing, it's a difficult thing to approach. But like I keep saying, you can prove that it's occurring. I've discussed this on my previous videos with the app Skewy and its ability to pick up the frequency of synthetic telepathy to at least make it real enough to you. You may not be able to share it comfortably with anybody else because of the bizarre nature of everything and the lack of understanding from most people, but at least validate it for your own well-being, so you know that you're not crazy, because you're not. We're going through this, and it's by design meant to be isolating and harrowing and impossible for the average person to relate comfortably or at all. So if you possess that ability, network with people like me, and we can at least discuss it. I've had several people reach out through Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, that sort of thing. So thank you for the positivity. It keeps me going and reminds me that I'm not crazy either. So we're all forced to endure meaningless drivel. There's never been more of a focus on meaningless bullshit in the history of human existence, I think. Like, all the fodder and all the things that don't matter are what we're constantly enduring in a constant stream, to bog us down, especially if you're a free-minded individual who can think creatively and likes to wax philosophical and, retain your level of intellectual freedom. It's especially difficult because we're forced to suffer fools who are never going to get it, who are just in our lives and in our way to slow down our way of thinking. It's just, I consider it a universal test of my patience. My patience has definitely been tested during this time period, especially when I knew I wouldn't be understanded if I were to be point blank real with people, because this is the craziest thing that's ever occurred in human history. And to say it's a hard thing to grasp and talk about would be a massive understatement. But, which brings me to the point that the need to conform and fall in line to not create headaches for ourselves with other people has never been more blatant. Um, and over time, the blatant disregard to the problems that are collecting in the background that we can't really directly pinpoint to this, but we know are the cause, those are going to begin to add up in our brains and just cause us intense distress because there's no catharsis. We can't even be real about how we feel with people other than indirectly. I would recommend using something like Reddit. There's a lot of people that will get you on Reddit. You don't even know those people. They're anonymous. So you feel a little bit more freedom and care less about if they don't agree with you. You at least state your case out there and very well because somebody could believe in you and inspire you to keep it moving in a positive direction. To know there's other people that are suffering the same and feeling the same way is very, very important. Um, but the dynamics of how we communicate as people have changed negatively. Like, many people are walking on eggshells, and if they do have the ability to be real and get some things out, then they could be opening themselves up um, to scrutiny. So it's important to remember too, no matter what, be yourself, but expect that there will be scrutiny and that other people won't understand. And just try to pick and choose your battles with people, like I keep saying. Um, there's another thing that I actually wrote down that I want to touch on. Yeah, and also like accepting less from the world is a theme and a constant that we're gonna have to get used to. This is not gonna be the best period of times of our lives, to say the very least. Like, this is going to, without a doubt, be the worst period of time. It's just there's an emphasis on it remaining undeclared and us resuming normal, like this is normal waking life, and it is not, obviously. Um, it's gonna be difficult to manage for families. I mean, children are certainly smarter than we think they are, and I seem to think that they have their own worry and fear about the future, but yet they're manipulated and controlled into never expressing anything that makes them fearful. Um, who knows what kind of influencing is really going on with children? They stand to lose a lot. This generation of people on the rise, children, are going to have some unique problems in their lives that we didn't have to experience. There's a lot of uphill battles with people at developmental ages. I expect there's probably going to be a lot of behavioral issues, mental health issues, even with young children because of this. So that's a fucking horrifying realization to think that. And it's terrible to think that there's so little regard to humanity, especially children. So that's something we need to factor in. And as the world changes, I think we need to broach the fact that the world is in a different way and that we're going to have to think differently, something we're going to have to bring up with people in our lives, especially children. And the nature of all this is that we awaken in flashes when we're not around people. So therefore, we're stuck alone with our thoughts, forever by ourselves, and that's usually when the negative emotions become more apparent. So it's like a cycle of disillusionment and then being aloof and unaware and just in the moment. Because we all still have to, function, do our normal activities to try to maintain our semblance of life and, not die of starvation, that sort of thing. So we all have a need to play into normal waking life, but it's becoming harder and harder and less like normal waking life, and things are just unpredictable. There's always an intention of orchestrating distressing situations when our natural anxiety is already high. Like, if something unfortunate or bad were to occur, you can naturally assume that they're going to dial up your negative emotions artificially, just to compound it and make it even worse and make it more distressing to you in that moment. So just anticipate that that's the case, and hopefully it won't affect you as negatively going in if you know what to expect. Pretty much, I wouldn't say assume the worst of people, but just assume that they will never understand you. If you've woken up to these realizations and epiphanies, just assume that it's going to be hard to be understood unless you find that right person. Never stop thinking that you won't run across that right person. It's a universal test and struggle, but hopefully we can all agree that we're taking the tests as well. We're all on different portions of our tests, but we're all ultimately taking the same universal test. Many are failing, some are passing, some need to make up some extra credit, that sort of thing. So just keep that in mind and find whatever you can do to find peace, whatever makes you happy. Cling to it, especially if it's a healthy thing that's good for you, and don't let others steal your personal happiness that you managed to obtain. That's pretty much all I got to say for now, but I think I got out the points that I wanted to, and I feel a little bit better now. All right, well, I wish you guys well. Peace.